So before we start the video, I'd like to ask you guys to please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video, as it helps the channel grow. So let's get into it. What's up, guys? The end of the season is here, and for the Chicago Bears, they take an embarrassing loss to the Minnesota Vikings. I don't even know how I should start this video, but I'm just gonna recap what I saw. This is the final game of the year, so let's get into it. What's up, guys? KT here, back at it with another video, back at it with another recap video. Embarrassing. This was an embarrassing loss for the Chicago Bears, a game that they very well could have won to end the year off with a good note. Instead, they went out a very embarrassing and very, I don't even know how to explain this game. Let's just get started. The quarterback position, obviously Dalton had to start this week. Justin Fields went on COVID reserve, so Dalton was starting this week. 33 of 48, 225 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and had a passer rating of 77.2. He was flat out horrible in the second half. Nothing more to be said there. He looked pretty sharp in the first half, but as the second half went on, he threw a pick 6. The Bears put him in multiple, especially Matt Nagy, put him in multiple bad positions, especially on 4th and 1, which I will get to later in the video. But overall, it's not his fault the Bears lost this game. Alright, it is, but it isn't at the same time. He threw 2 interceptions. Those were 2 very costly interceptions, so you know what, Dalton, he is what he is at this point. You know, he didn't play well, but I don't know what else you can ask him to do in a situation like this. What's really appalling to me is that they're going to end the season the same way they began it, with giving David Montgomery less than 25 carries a game. He had 20 attempts, 72 yards. He averaged 3.6 yards per carry, and his longest run, was for 11 yards. They did not. It looked like Matt Nagy did not want to give David Montgomery the ball at all. There was multiple. They had about 3 4th and 1 plays where they just did not want to run the ball. They ran a lot of play action on those plays. Dalton got sacked on 2 of them, and then he threw a pick 6 on one of them. And he, you know, at this point, I think David deserves to go somewhere else and show his actual talents to the world, because it's not working here. You know, with the current coaches they have, if he went somewhere else and you see this guy gashing the defense, they would run the ball with him. He should be much better than what he is, and that's saying something. He's a 1,000-yard rusher, but they don't use him. So they need to make some changes on that front. One more thing, Darnell Mooney, as far as the receiving category, Darnell Mooney gets 16 targets, 12 receptions, 126 yards. He passed his 1,000-yard mark. So 2 straight years in which the Bears have had a 1,000-yard receiver. Congratulations to Darnell Mooney. He's really flashing his talent. Cole Kmet also got 5 targets and 4 receptions. He's showing a little bit of talent as well. But other than that, the offense was just out of sync, as usual, as it's custom to the Matt Nagy, Ryan Pace era, that the offense struggles and fails to put up points in the red zone and turns the ball over. So at the end of the day, I'm going to have to give them a B for bye. And you know what? A B for bad, actually. They just can't score points. With this current coaching staff and regime, they can't score points. This has been the story for 4+ years now with this regime. They can't score points. They can't get in the red zone to score points. They can't sustain good drives. So it's just been the same thing over and over again. I do like the fact that Darnell Mooney had got his 1,000-yard receiving yard season, but overall, I think the offense played pretty bad, and the actual grade I would give them would be a C minus. Defense played pretty good the first half, but didn't show up at all in the second half. Roquan Smith, 6 total tackles, 2 solo tackles. That was it for him. He had an okay game. Eddie Jackson had a couple missed blown coverages. Kindle Vildor, I don't even know why he's still playing. Kindle Vildor, he's been bad in coverage, and multiple touchdowns and first downs were on him today. I've seen multiple blown coverages by him. And it's funny because they will not give Thomas Graham Jr. a chance. They just won't. And Kendall Vildor has been blowing coverages all year, and that's just been the hallmark of this defense all year and all season, is that they can't just seem to get the coverage right. There's constant blown coverage, bad play calling on the defensive side. Why are you playing press coverage on 3rd down and 13? It eludes me. Jalen Johnson, he didn't have his best game. The only guy that really played well was Roquan Smith in that first half, and a quick shout out to Angelo Blackson, who had 2 sacks. And I think he stripped Kirk Cousins. So yeah, there's not much to take from this. There's a lot of promising pieces on this defense, but ultimately the same problems plague them: a bad secondary and very bad play calling. So, and a lack of a number 2 linebacker. So I'll get into more of that when I do my separate video on what the Bears need to do to be able to fix these problems. But overall, I think the defense gets a C for complacency. They were very complacent in the second half. They didn't play well at all in the second half, and too many blown coverages. The same thing we've seen all year. Like the same way the offense started the year, the defense ended it as well. The defense started the year with blown coverage, and they ended it with blown coverage. And this just shows the ability of the current regime to scout talent and get guys that actually fit the system. You know, they won't play Thomas Graham Jr., so they keep playing Kendall Vildor, and that's what keeps happening, is that they keep blowing coverage, and he seems to be in the middle of it all. But overall, I think the defense gets a C, maybe a D. I think a C for complacency. Yeah, they played okay the first half, but that's the only reason I'm going to mark them that high. Special teams, they ended the year okay. I'll give them an A+ for excellence. Cairo Santos, he hit all 3 of his field goals. He was basically the only source of Bears points. And a lot of good kick returns and punt returns. Really, they don't really need to change anything as far as the special teams category. So going into the offseason, I think you're good with that. Now, the real show of this video, it's finally over. We can finally say that it's over. Thank God that it's over. Matt Nagy is gone. He should be gone either today or tomorrow. I don't know when he should be gone. Sometime this week he should be gone. So this is 4 years of ineptitude, 4 years of arrogance, everything else. You know, this organization is, the Chicago Bears are one of the most popular teams in the NFL. And for them to be this bad, and for them to be clamoring for a new stadium, even though they haven't put up results to deserve a new stadium, it's embarrassing. You have one of the most loyal fan bases in the NFL. You're one of the most popular teams in the NFL, and you put a product out like that. That goes to show, you know, it's not all Nagy's fault, and it's not all Pace's fault. It starts with ownership, and they found these 2 dudes, and they just haven't been able to put Pace hasn't been able to put a good roster around this team to make it successful. And Matt Nagy is not a good enough play caller to be successful in the NFL. They score less than 18 points every single year. They've been one of the worst offenses for 4 years, other than that 2018 season, which they were just average. So I'm so glad that, you know, this era is finally over. You know, when you throw the ball 3 times on 4th and 1, that tells you something right there. And I think Matt Nagy knew he was gone. He knows he's gone at the end, probably somewhere this week, maybe today, maybe tomorrow. So he decided to go out his way, and he went out. It's a fitting way for him to go out, as well. I'm just gonna say it, as a failure. This has been a failed experiment. Now the Bears are gonna have to start all over again. Granted, they don't have to break down the roster as much. They have a lot of promising pieces. But overall, you know, I'm glad it's over. The defense, they need to clean house completely, get rid of all the coordinators, the GM. They need to scrub the organization completely. So for play calling and coaching, I give it an F and a B for goodbye. And yeah, I'll go into more depth about this throughout the week. But end of an era, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it with your friends and family, hit that notification bell, and I'm out. Peace.